This is what happens when you get locked in the school bathroom. So he asks to go to the bathroom. He walks down the empty hallway, pushes the bathroom door open, and does his business. But when he's ready to leave, what the heck? The door won't budge. It's like somebody locked it from the outside. He's pushing, pulling, nothing. He checks his phone. Crap, there's no signal in here. Now at this point, he's already been gone 8 minutes. So I guess he does the only logical thing. He looks at the ceiling. Crap. He steps on the sink, he pushes open the ceiling tile, and he army crawls through the drop ceiling. Now he thinks he's going towards the hallway, he hopes so, and right when he thinks he's above the hallway, he lifts the tile open, but he falls right through. There you are. Right there was his teacher and the vice principal. What on earth are you doing? The bathroom door was locked, so you climbed through the ceiling? I mean, I couldn't just stay in there, right? Well, you could have knocked or yelled for help. Also, the bathroom's not locked. Here's what happened. When he got in the bathroom and did his business, he was about to leave, and he tried opening the door, but it wasn't the bathroom door, it was the supply closet door in the bathroom. They looked very similar. But he panicked, didn't look around to see the actual doors right there, so he climbed through the ceiling. You know what? Just come to my office. You're getting detention. And he got a detention for property damage and making terrible decisions.
This senior class pulled a crazy prank. One night before school, they sent a few people out to pet stores to buy buckets and buckets of crickets. Oh, we got this. This is gonna be the best prank ever. Then, right before lunch, they poured buckets of crickets into any trash can they could find. Well, that day during lunch, a fight broke out. People were pushing and shoving each other. Hey, wait a minute. A crowd begins to form. And amidst all this chaos, these garbage cans got knocked over. And I guess the crickets that had been sitting in there saw this as an opportunity to go crazy. So now there's this wave, this swarm of crickets just going all over the place, and people are freaking out. It turns into chaos. Nobody knows why there's an army of crickets, and somebody pulls a fire alarm. Within minutes, the school loses complete control. And at the end of the day, pest control was there trying to fix the situation, trying to get rid of all these crickets, and I guess they did their best. Weeks go by, then months, and crickets are still showing up in classrooms, in lockers. Years later, every so often, you could hear them at night in the ceiling, all because of one senior prank. And honestly, that's legendary.
This kid didn't talk until he was 5, and when he finally did start talking, he barely said anything. His vocabulary was only like 20 words, and he only talked when he was spoken to. And everyone already thought he was the weird kid. Well, one day, this kid is sitting outside of his house when his 10-year-old neighbor walks by. And the 10-year-old neighbor is a legit genius. He actually ends up graduating high school at 12 years old. But he walks up to this 5-year-old who barely talks, and he says to him, "The answer to every question is observing." First of all, I have no idea what the heck that means, but the kid listened. He takes it very seriously and very literally. From that day on, every single question he gets asked gets the same answer. "Okay, you, what is 2 times 2? Observing." "What do you want for dinner, son?" "Observing." "Okay, and how are you feeling today?" "Observing." At this point, people are freaking out. People made meetings, there was counselors and therapists involved. For almost an entire year, the only thing that this kid would say is observing. Eventually, after a few years of therapy, he began talking like a normal person. But hey, that's kind of hilarious. Every night at 8 p.m., this kid's parents would shut off the internet. It didn't matter what he was doing. And to turn it back on, you had to have the password. Homework, group projects, whatever, it didn't matter. At 8 p.m., the Wi-Fi was getting shut down. At first, he's mad, like this is not fair, but then he realizes the neighbor's Wi-Fi signal is very strong, and they're very old, so there wasn't a Wi-Fi password. He begins doing his homework on their Wi-Fi by his bedroom window. Okay, perfect. It works. But then like winter hits and the signal gets worse for some reason. Dang it, connect, send! Don't! He starts getting closer and closer to the neighbor's house. He begins sitting on his front porch, then outside their windows. This goes on for weeks. Sometimes the signal's better, sometimes it's horrible. Until one night, the signal was very bad, so he was sitting directly underneath their bedroom window. He didn't know it was their bedroom, but another neighbor saw it. What was that creep doing? And yeah, I guess it would look pretty creepy, this dude sitting outside the neighbor's window with a laptop. In the dark, the police get called, the cop shows up, he explains to them, "I'm using their Wi-Fi. Mine gets cut off at 8 p.m. by my parents. I have homework to do." The cop's not even mad at him. He's like, "Where are your parents?" The parents come out. The cop says, "You shut off the Wi-Fi at 8 p.m.? He's got homework to do. Look what he's doing." He shames the parents. And the parents are very embarrassed because yeah, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Nobody gets in trouble that day, and the parents stopped turning the Wi-Fi off. That's just wild. Here's what happens when your coach smashes your phone. This school's basketball coach was pretty intense. All right, huddle up, everybody. Time for team talk. It was one day after practice, and everybody was huddled up by the coach for like a regroup thing. But this kid named Johnny was on his phone. Hey, Johnny, come on, man. This is team huddle. Give me your phone right now. Johnny hands it over, thinking he's just gonna get a lecture. Fine. Coach takes the phone, walks straight into the equipment room, and slams the door. And then everybody hears it. The sound of smashing, cracking, screaming from the coach. Johnny's stomach drops. His phone was brand new. His parents saved up for 3 months to get it for him for his birthday. He's shaking, he's almost crying. The coach walks back out, holding a mangled piece of metal and glass. Here's what happens when you're not paying attention, kid. Johnny notices something immediately. The mangled phone was way too light. He flips it over and realizes it's not even real. It's a dummy phone from the school drama department. Your real phone's in my office. Maybe now you'll lock in during team time, okay? From that day on, Johnny left his phone far away in the locker during practice. Dude, that coach is kinda awesome. Most school pranks involve a mess or a splash, but the great invasion of 2024 was silent, and it only cost $20. It started when an 8th grader found a bulk listing of sticky googly eyes on the internet. Oh, I'm getting these. And he brought those to school, and he recruited 6th graders. I'm giving each of you 500 sticky googly eyes, and you are to put them everywhere. They were his 6th grade deployment team, and by the next day, the school had eyes everywhere. The fire extinguishers looked surprised. The water fountains were looking suspicious. Every single locker had eyes on it, watching students as they walked down the hallways. Yeah, dude, there's eyes everywhere. School administration went into full-blown panic mode because it was basically an infestation. You couldn't look anywhere without seeing eyes. I want names. I want receipts. We must get to the bottom of this. But it was impossible to find out who did this. The breaking point happened on a Thursday. The lunch lady was preparing burgers for lunch. She opened up the fridge to grab the tray of patties, and what she saw, every single burger patty in that fridge had 2 eyes looking up at her. She walked out that day. The school spent weeks peeling off these eyes. Eventually, they were all gone. Well, almost. They missed one. High up on the wall in the back of the gym, right next to the school's championship banner. One last eye. Years later, they still talk about it. See that eye up there, kid? Yeah, what is it? Let's just say there was a time where everything in this school had eyes, and it was beautiful. He's the new kid at a new school, and there's a big rally happening in the gym. It's packed. He's trying to find a seat, but he doesn't want to be noticed. He's kind of shy. Well, there's music blasting, the bleachers are shaking, he's trying to sit down. He's walking up the bleachers, and he's like, all right, just walk fast, be confident, take a seat, it's not that hard. So he starts jogging. Okay. Well, that's when his foot catches something and he falls down. But as he falls, he grabs onto this one kid. Well, that kid grabs onto somebody else. And suddenly it's this full-blown domino effect. Bodies just tumbling down these bleachers. 25 to 30 kids, all just falling, bouncing, rolling down. And it was loud. The sound was unreal. People were screaming. The music stops. Once the falling was done, there's a pile of humans on the floor of the gym. And then the laughter erupts. One by one, people are getting out of the pile until him at the bottom is seen. He started this! And now everybody's laughing at him. For the rest of the year, that kid was known as Bleacher Boy. But it kind of worked out in his favor because people thought it was hilarious. Nobody made fun of him. They just remembered as the day this kid caused the funniest human avalanche ever. After class one day, a teacher tells him, tomorrow I need you to come to my office hours. Oh, like right after school? Yes. And he's actually excited. At home, he tells his mom, I got a thing for class tomorrow after school. He tells her it's office hours, and he thinks it's a party. Ooh, office hours, that sounds fun. Let's go to Costco, we'll have you get some cookies to bring. So they go to Costco, she buys some cookies, chips, some plates. Next day after school, he's walking down the hallway with a plastic bag full of these snacks, and he's excited. He knocks on the teacher's door, smiling, and he goes in. I didn't know how many people were coming, so I brought extra. What? She looks at the food, looks at him. What are you talking about? Office hours. She closes the door quietly and says, we're here to talk about your failing grade. It's not a party? No. He sits down, defeated. He talks to the teacher, and they have a plan to fix his failing grade. And as he's about to leave, all right, well, thanks. I guess I should go do my homework. And wait, I can't let you waste all the food. Let's bring out the cookies and the chips. Let's have a little party, just us two. Okay. And for the next 15 minutes, they sat there and ate cookies and chips and just chatted like two human beings. And then he went on his way. Hey, actually, that's a good teacher. You didn't leave the table until you finished your plate. The kid usually just tries to power through it, but he's tired. He doesn't want to do this anymore. So instead, he pretends to take bites and he puts the food into his pocket. Then after dinner, he sneaks upstairs. But he doesn't throw the food in the garbage because he's paranoid. He thinks his parents will find it and realize what he's doing. So instead, he hides it in the vents of the house. Didn't matter what food it was either. Mashed potatoes, chicken, vegetables, fish. Every night, a little bit more. Stuffy, the foodie. But his plate's always clean after dinner and his parents are happy. He's like, this is a solid deal, Cowabunga baby. Well, a week and a half go by and yeah, the house begins to smell horrific. His parents think there's a dead animal in the attic. They hire someone to come look, but there's no dead animal. Then they have the carpets cleaned, then the walls cleaned. And the last thing they got checked was the vents. The guy pulls it open, he's looking. Yeah, there's a bunch of old rotten food in the vents. And everything kind of comes to light. The parents find out what the kid's been doing, but they feel bad. They're like, oh my God, we were forcing you to eat. You weren't hungry, you shoved the food in the vents. We're horrible parents. Well, maybe, kinda. Why would you force your kid to eat? Regardless, that rule stopped, and the house still smells a little bit like fish. This family thought, chairs make you lazy. So they were forced to always stand when they were eating. Breakfast, standing at the counter. Lunch, standing around the island. Dinner, standing around the table with the entire family. And they were supposed to eat fast. They were trying to be efficient, I guess. Once they were done, they would clean their plates and they would move on. Well, this kid grew up this way and he never questioned it. Why would he? That's how he thought meals worked. Then he's at his friend's house for dinner one night, and he's confused. He's standing there. The dad's like, you can sit down, buddy. What are you doing? Okay. So he sits and they talk, they laugh. They linger and they eat their food at their own pace. He's like amazed. You good, bro? Yeah, this is just different. In a good way. He realized that his family was the weird one. Like a lot of these stories, this happens. After dinner, he goes back home and he goes to his room and cries because, what? He's been standing for every single meal, eating as fast as he can, being super stressed out because his parents are crazy. But actually, you can just sit there and enjoy your food and be with people and laugh. For the first time in his life, he was relaxed during a meal, and that meant a lot to him. Now, it's years later, and sometimes when he's stressed, he finds himself standing and eating, but he always tries to breathe, take a seat, and just enjoy those dang potatoes. What happens when the school bully becomes the hero? I'll tell you. This happened at a middle school in Ohio. There was this one kid named Steven, and he was getting bullied every single day by the same group of seniors. He was being shoved into lockers, his lunch tray was getting knocked over, the usual stuff. I hate my life. Well, here's the thing. There was another bully at school, the biggest bully. This dude named Jake, and everyone was terrified of him. Well, I guess he'd been watching what had been happening to Steven. I just kept seeing it happen every day. One day something snapped. He sees them bullying Steven, so he walks right up and says, hey, look at me. You touch him again, you're gonna deal with me, okay? The bullies immediately stop. Oh, hey, Jake, yeah, no, whatever, man. We're just messing around, no big deal, we'll stop. And just like that, they stopped messing with Steven. But Jake doesn't stop there because Steven was a new kid at school. He didn't want people messing with him for some reason. So Jake starts walking Steven to class every day, sits by him at lunch, basically becomes his bodyguard. You didn't have to do that, man. Yeah, it did. Teachers are freaking out because they don't know what to do. The biggest bully in school is now protecting the most vulnerable kid in school. Well, here's the thing. Jake got suspended for 1 week because another kid was messing with Steven and he pushed him into the wall. The school didn't care that he was sticking up for somebody, but he didn't complain. And when the suspension was over, he kept being buddies with Steven. And that is awesome. This mom spent 5 years telling everybody in town that her son was a monster. He cut me off. He hasn't talked to me in years. She would go on Facebook and post these long, crying rants about how family is everything and how she didn't understand why her own flesh and blood would just stop speaking to her. I'm a heartbroken saint of a mother. She was really making herself the victim. I just don't get it. I gave him life, and now he won't even answer a text. I've done nothing but love him. Well, her son eventually caught wind of all of this, and he decided he was done being the villain in this story. He finally posted a comment on one of his mom's crazy posts. He didn't write much. It was a simple question. Hey mom, glad you're doing well. Quick question, where's my Honda? People commented. The truth finally came out. A few years back, her son let her borrow his car because her transmission was out, and she needed to get around for a few days. But the day he dropped it off, all right mom, keys are in the ignition, I'm gonna get an Uber back home, you're all set. Thank you, son. Well, that day she didn't drive it to work. She drove it straight to a car dealership. And it wasn't a formal car dealership. It was some random guy, and she sold it to him. Yeah, I'll take it. Here you go. She then used that money to put towards a new car for herself. Why on earth would you do this? I needed something reliable. You're young, you can walk. I can't believe you. But she got mad at him. She said that, oh, quit complaining. You should be happy for me. But obviously, he wasn't. And that's why he never talked to her. Good reason. It started small. This kid brought a few things from home that day. A headphones, a hoodie, and some random collectibles. And somebody jokingly goes, I'll trade you my Jordans for those headphones. He says, okay. And that's the moment it clicks. The next day he comes to school and that duffel bag he brought of stuff is heavier. And he starts telling people during lunch to meet him in the bathroom. And everything he had was up for trade. Okay guys, line up. Here's what I got. What do you got? And the value is negotiated right there on the spot. A hoodie for a watch for AirPods, AirPods for a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants, a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants for a porcelain plate that someone stole from their grandma's house that's worth a lot of money. Okay, I think we all did good today. We happy? Yep. Perfect. By week 3, there's a huge line of people holding random objects trying to trade with this kid, because the best part is you were never sure what he was gonna bring. Some of the stuff that was traded included shoes in a plastic bag, electronics, gift cards, jewelry. Bro, that's a PlayStation 5. I know. Now say you wanted something nice, but the thing you had to trade didn't equal the value. Okay, I'll trade you this for that, but tomorrow you gotta bring me something else to make it even. Deal. So now there's credit on the line, and that's when it gets dangerous, because if someone didn't follow up with their end of the deal, there was arguing, fights, full-blown bathroom brawls, and then came the bandits. Bigger kids that stormed into the bathroom one day and stole everything. Hey, Pipsqueak, give us the stuff. I knew I should have hired security. That's another lesson. Always hire security. The school then gets involved in a pretty major way. Suspensions, confiscations, meetings with parents who are finding out for the first time that their kid traded their family heirloom for a frickin' SpongeBob speaker. That bathroom was closed down for the rest of the year. But nobody ever forgot that underground trading post in the school bathroom. This guy was played. When he was in 10th grade, his crush, named Sarah Lee, was in the same class as him. And him, Sarah Lee, and 2 other people were in a group project together. Well, Sarah tells him, hey Tommy, come here. Hey, what's up? So you're basically the mastermind of our project? Your job is to design the title slide. Okay, nice. Now Sarah was super smart, but she told this kid that all he had to do was design the title. She told him that first impressions were everything, and that his creative vision would set the project apart. And they were sure to get an A. And he was like, wow, she must actually like me a little bit. So he spent 6 hours. He was choosing fonts, picking out background designs, making it look absolutely incredible. Yes. Meanwhile, Sarah and the other group members were in a completely different group chat. They were doing the project themselves. Now, to me, I would have loved to just have to do the title. Well, presentation day comes, and they are called up to the front of the classroom. All right, you guys, you may start your slideshow. And he was ready for the entire class to see the beautiful title slide he made. Well, it started, and the title slide went up on the projector. And it wasn't his title slide at all. It was just a white background with the name of the project in black font. Wait, I think that, no, it's fine. All right, everybody. And she presented. They got an A, but that wasn't the thing. This kid was trying to impress his crush, but she didn't care. And she admitted later that she was just trying to mess with him, which is not right. He's a grown man, afraid of frogs. He can't go fishing. He won't walk near a pond. If a nature documentary shows a frog, nope. If he sees a cartoon frog on a commercial, hey, turn this off. If he's at a pet store, he will not walk down the aisle where the frogs are. I'm not going down there. I'm like, don't make me go down there. And nobody understands it. One night he's chilling with a friend and his friend finally asks him, hey bro, I always meant to ask you, what's your deal with frogs? He laughs it off at first, then he goes quiet. He says it started when he was 8 years old. It was summer. He was at the pond behind his grandma's house. Him and his cousin were messing around near the water. When his cousin scoops something up, whoa, it was a frog. He then throws it at him. Catch! Before he could react, that frog hits him right in the chest. Splat! And it's stuck there, clinging to his shirt. He slowly looks down and he sees the frog staring right up at him. To this day, he swears that the frog blinked once and said this, you would look better in a top hat. He freaked out. He shoved that frog off his shirt and he ran home. So yeah, that's what happened. That's so dumb. Obviously his buddy didn't believe him, but he knows what he saw and he knows what he heard. And to this day, he is still terrified of frogs. That's nuts. These are the worst parents ever. In this house, certain words were banned, like disgusting. If you said the word disgusting, you were grounded for a week. Obviously, no swear words. Bedroom doors had to stay open at all times. Only time they could be in a room with the door closed was the bathroom. This kid's parents hated Cartoon Network. They called it garbage. So yeah, super controlling parents, but one day it became completely out of hand. One day the parents decided that these kids were bad enough to deserve a real punishment. You've seen nothing yet. So the sister was 14, the brother was 12. The parents made them gather every single item in their bedroom. Clothes, pictures, diaries, toys, childhood keepsakes. Their parents made them bag this stuff up in trash bags. And then they marched them outside to a giant burn pile. March to the backyard. And item by item, they made the kids burn every single thing that they bagged up. Every memory, every photo, every childhood item, completely gone. The next day, they went out to see what was left, and it was just ashes. Their entire lives up to that point, ashes. So yeah, in my opinion, worst parents ever. It's a sleepover at his friend's house. They're sitting down talking when somebody mentions a microwave. I almost microwaved my fork. That would have been crazy. Why would that be crazy? Everyone's like, you can't microwave metal, man. You didn't know that? No, and I've never tried. They explain to him that it's bad to microwave metal, like fire hazard bad. Well, they all go to sleep, and this kid's laying there. He can't stop thinking about it. Metal, microwave. Microwave, metal, metal, microwave, metal. Metal, metal, microwave, milk, metal. He just can't let it go. Staring at the ceiling, he decides, ugh, I need to find out for myself. So he goes into the kitchen of his friend's house, opens the silverware drawer, grabs a handful of forks, knives, and spoons, puts it in the microwave, and presses start. For the first 3 seconds, nothing happens, but then crackling, sparks, a flash bright as the sun, and then flames. The microwave is now fully engulfed in flames, and the cabinets start on fire. Fire alarms are going off, everybody in the house wakes up and they go outside. The fire trucks arrive and they're putting this fire out. Luckily, it's not too bad. The kitchen was pretty messed up though, but the entire neighborhood was outside in their pajamas watching this thing happen. And obviously, they found out who did it. Bro, we just told you about metal in the microwave. I had to see it. And that, my friends, is nuts. It snowed heavily overnight. It's now early morning, and this retired guy is snow blowing his driveway. Milk, milk, milk. He clears his driveway, then he does his neighbors to the left, and then his neighbors to the right. He usually does those, just as a neighborly friendly thing, because they're also old. He parks the machine, goes inside, and puts on The Sopranos. Hey, gabagool. Tony's gabagool. The doorbell rings. He opens it, and it's a woman from like 5 doors down. She just moved in. Hi, why haven't you done our driveway yet? I'm gonna be late for work. I saw you do these two. When's ours gonna be done? Ma'am, this is not a service. I do a favor for these two because they're old, like me, but I still got my good knees. I'm sorry. You would think she'd be like, oh my gosh, how dumb of me. How dare I assume that you're gonna do our driveway? But no. Well, we're your neighbors too. Can you please snow blow our driveway? He's standing there, appalled. No. slams the door in her face, goes back to his chair, and presses play to resume The Sopranos. It's Tony Soprano. Gabagool. That lady's out of her mind. Is it just me, or is banning a student from the bathroom a horrible idea? There was this one student who was basically infamous for wandering the hallways. He would ask to use the bathroom every single day during class. Can I use the bathroom? Again? Okay, fine, but hurry. He would then go and take like 30 minutes. Every time. When I was in school, I knew a few kids like this. Well, anyway, he would be gone for a long time. The teachers would go out and they would find him just wandering the halls, talking to friends through their classroom door, just killing time. It got so bad that the school banned him from taking bathroom breaks during class. And they sent a memo to every single one of his teachers. Anyway, one day, this kid ate fish tacos during lunch, which already, that's a horrible idea. Well, midway through third period, he begins sweating. He raises his hand. Can I go to the bathroom, please? My stomach hurts. Nice try, but no. So he tries to keep it together. 20 minutes later, he's practically doubled over. The teacher still refuses. And then it happens. Right there in the middle of class, in front of everybody. And it's a frickin' mess. Turns out the kid had actual food poisoning. But he wasn't the only kid to get food poisoning. Other kids also had it, but they were allowed to go to the bathroom. He wasn't. The school ended up settling in court with this kid's parents, and they got a good amount of money. Turns out, doesn't matter if the kid was wandering hallways or skipping class, banning them from the bathroom is not okay. But it didn't matter how much money his parents received in the court case. He was still made fun of for the rest of his time at that school. That is messed up. This girl's in 8th grade. She's tiny, pretty short. Like, she barely comes up to anybody's shoulders. Well, her dad is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu teacher, and he taught her jiu-jitsu when she was very young. I want you to be able to defend yourself, sweetie, only if you need to. And she was really good at it. She had these skills, but she never had to use it until one day, this senior dude won't leave her alone. Hey, what's up? So, what are you doing? Hey, what's happening? Get away from me. He's getting in her face. The teachers see this, but they don't do anything. He then grabs her arm really hard. Hey, get back here. And that's when it ends. One clean move. And this kid's on the floor, knocked out. The hallway is dead silent now. Everyone's watching. Well, here's the wild part. That kid goes home that night, and this kid's parents lose it. They demand a meeting. They say that their son was attacked. They want the girl expelled, and the school sides with them until her dad stands up. My daughter isn't going anywhere. I was walking around earlier. I see cameras in every single hallway. Why don't we run it back to see what really happened? And if you still think my daughter should be expelled, I'm gonna sue this entire school and him for assault. And this dad was intense. They believed him. Then it switched. This girl was not getting expelled. Instead, the guy does. Good on her for sticking up for herself, and good on the dad for being awesome. When this kid was a toddler, his mom would keep him on a leash in the yard. She would clip it on him, and then she would tie the leash to something in the yard. And she let him play while she did the dishes. Well, one day he's sitting in the yard, and he's eating ants straight off of an anthill. Just literally grabbing them and eating them like they're freaking popcorn. Well, that's when he gets curious. So he takes a handful of this anthill and starts stuffing his pockets. He's stuffing his pockets with ants so he can have a snack for later. This kid then takes the harness off of himself and begins walking towards the street. Just him, free, with a pocket full of ants. The mom sees this and goes outside to start to get him, but as he reaches the road, a van pulls up. This dude opens the van and grabs him and puts him in the van. Yeah, kid, get in, kid. There's another guy inside. There's a guy driving the van and another guy in the back seat. So now it's this dude, the kid, and the other dude sitting in the back seat. Now his mom is losing it. The car peels off. She's screaming, chasing this van. But inside the car, everything changes. The guy who grabbed them starts screaming. What? No, get him off me! Get him off me! He's thrashing, panicking, because guess what happened? This toddler's pockets, like I said, were full of ants. And now they're everywhere in the van. This guy loses it. He just yanks open the van door and throws this kid into a ditch. Car's gone. The mom finds the kid moments later, alive, well, covered in ants, and eating them. And honestly, that's the craziest story I have ever heard. It's March. The school goes into one of those lockdowns where the police bring in these dogs to sniff around the lockers looking for some sort of illegal substances. Every classroom door is locked. There's no bathroom breaks allowed. Well, one kid in this class is visibly unwell. Pale, he's sweating. The teacher notices and goes over to him. What's wrong? The kid whispers back. Do you think the dogs would go to my locker? The teacher kind of pauses.
Do you have something to be worried about? Kid nods yes and says,
There's a ham and cheese sandwich in there with extra mayonnaise on it.
the teacher's confused. That's not a problem. You're allowed to have food. The kid says, I know, but it's been in there since September. 6 months. 6 months the sandwich has been in the locker, and the kid is so worried about it, I'm pretty sure that sandwich smelled. This kid wasn't afraid of getting expelled. He was afraid that the dogs were gonna uncover this weird biological event that was growing in his locker for 6 months. Luckily for him, the dogs didn't go by his locker, and nobody uncovered the sandwich smell. But that teacher never forgot the fear on that kid's face.
কি হইছে বলতো? আর বলিস না, তোরে যে বুকিং দিছে সে তো এখন আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
দিশান আমার দরজা লাগিয়ে দিচ্ছে কই যায় কই যা
আমরা তো বিয়েই দিয়ে দিবে বাসা থেকে।
মাম্মা লাভ স্টোরি তো শুরু করে দিলা ভালো 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 মালটারে কি পড়ানো যায়
তুই একটা কাম কর, আজকে থেকে আমি তোমার তুমি আমার ব্যাস ডিসিশন ফাইনাল বুকিং দিয়ে রাখলাম, ঠিক আছে? কি খবর তোমাদের, কেমন আছো তোমার সবাই? ভালো তো না? তুমি জানো তোমায় কালকে তো কতবার কল দিচ্ছি।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
কি রে এদার তুইন মানা করতেছি
কিছু মানে কিছু
ভাবি আপনি জানেন আমি একবার অসুস্থ হয়ে গেছিলাম, ও আমাকে রক্ত দেয়নি, আর আজকে আপনাকে রক্ত দিয়ে চিঠি লিখছে। কি রে মাম্মা কই রে তুই, কতক্ষণ ধরে দাঁড়ায় থাকবো, কনসার্ট তো শুরু হয়ে যাবে। তাইলে তো বন্ধু রিত লেগে গেল। আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা যা
পাল্লাতে ভালো
দেখা যাক কি করে শালা।
বোবা, হ্যাঁ কথা বলতে পারো না?
বিয়ান সাহেব আসসালামু আলাইকুম। বিয়ান সাহেব
এক্সকিউজ মি।
তাই তো কেন ফোন যায় না? না তোমার নাম্বারটা তাড়াতাড়ি করে বলো।
ঘন্টার পর তো গার্লফ্রেন্ডের লাগে ওয়েট করতে পারো, আর বন্ধুর লাগে 2 মিনিট ওয়েট করতে পারবা না? ও এখন আমার দোস্ত, তাইলে তো বন্ধু রিত লেগে গেল। আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা
বাদ দে, কালকে 4টা দেখা হবে।
ঠিক আছে মামা। ঠিক আছে মামা, ঠিক মতো যা। শালা পারলাম না রে। আরে তোর তো হাওয়াটা একটু হয়ে গেল।
তুলি তুই তো সুন্দর নাম। আচ্ছা শোনো, আমি জিসান, আই লাভ ইউ।
আপনাদের তো চিনলাম না। আমার বড় বোনের যে দেবরগুলো আছেন তো সবাইকেই চিনি, বাট আপনাদেরকে তো চিনি না।
তুমি পড়ো, ঘুমাও তাহলে, গুড নাইট, আর বাই।
সহজে কোনো কিছু পাওয়ার মজা নাই, কিন্তু আমগো দোস্ত জিসান কি কম।
ও
ভাবি লাগে বেটা, লজ্জা লাগে না?
কি ওর কথা বাদ দে,
তুই যা জামুই তো।
তুই চুপ থাক।
আমি তো আপনাকে চিনি না।
চিনো না যে আজকে চিনলা, আরো চিনবা, আস্তে আস্তে চিনবা। আর শুনো, ফোন দিয়ে যেতেছি তুমি ফোনই ধরো না, তোমার ফোন ধরার কোনো নামই নাই, কোনো কথা, তোমার ফোন ধরো না কেন?
এবারে এক্সামের প্রিপারেশন কিরকম তোদের? আমি তো খুবই এক্সাইটেড, কারণ আমার প্রিপারেশন খুবই ভালো।
সুন্দর মতো যাবি, ভাবির নামটা জিজ্ঞাবি, আর শুন ভালো মতো কথা কবে, ভাবি লাগে খালি থাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, থাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, এই বাদে আর কিছু পারছস? বুকিং মানে বুকিং, তুমি আমার আমি তোমার, বুকিং দিয়ে দিছি ফাইনাল।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো ও আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না?
রক্তটা দিবি তুই।
আমি কেন রক্ত দেবো? প্রেম খরচ তুই, রক্ত।
আমার বন্ধু জিসান আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসে ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধে হতে দিবেন না ভাবি।